Hello and welcome to my review of The Horse and His Boy, part of the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This book is the only book not focused on children from our world, but rather on children from the universe of Narnia. It's about a young boy called Shasta, a slave to a fisherman, or who believes him the son of a fisherman, himself the son of a fisherman, but felt no love, and discovered that he himself was kidnapped and more of a slave than a son. It's about Aravis fleeing an arranged marriage, and two talking horses, Bree and Hwin, and the four together journey from Calormen to Narnia and learn valuable lessons along the way. Many of these lessons are strong themes within the other books of Narnia: personal responsibility, belief in greater, service to a greater power, and adherence to the law. You'll see that crop up even if I don't mention it in the other stories. They are themes thereof, and here I'm going to focus on the journey to the personal responsibility, and I'll also touch on the journey to freedom. Not just in body for Aravis, Shasta, Bree and Hwin, but in spirit. They learn their place, that they are both greater and need to be humbler than they believe themselves to be. Bree believed themselves to be a great and amazing, wonderful, greatest creature of them all. I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but it's not too far off the fact. But it is mentioned to him that it is easy to be great and brave when you measure against someone lower down the pecking order than yourself. But when you're measured against your peers, you may be nothing and no one special. But it doesn't mean you are nothing. It also doesn't mean you shouldn't elevate yourself to being greater. And learning humility means that you know about yourself, and it doesn't mean that you step and stand on others and put other people's achievements down for your greater glory. When we speak of personal responsibility, this possibly has more direct reference. I've mentioned in the other videos that regardless of age, these are just children, and in our world they would be primary school or children, maybe around 10 years old, maybe 11. And you think, you know what, they're very young, they can't be responsible. But even children are responsible for their actions, and they're not immune to the consequences. And here, Aslan, God, does say to Aravis that I was the one who wounded you. I was the only lion you met in all your journeyings. Do you know why I tore you? She replies, no, sir. The scratches on your back, tear for tear, trob for trob, blood for blood, are equal to the stripes laid on the back of your stepmother's slave because of the drug sleep you cast upon her. You need to know what it felt like. She is punished for a crime. The crime, should I really phrase that? It was a crime against an innocent. She needed to escape, and that slave was keeping her, though of greater station in life, still keeping her in bondage, and she was forced to perform that action, to drug her stepmother's slave. Otherwise she could not have escaped. However, that was an innocent woman, and because of which an innocent was punished. And that cried out for justice. So God administered that justice to Aravis, but in no greater measure than what she had done. And this speaks to the Bible of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. And unlike what many preach, and these are people who claim to know the Bible, but really it is not. They might be able to spout the words, but don't know it in their hearts. It means you should look for no more than an eye for an eye, no more than a tooth for a tooth, and no more than a life for a life. And many of these who use that term will administer greater punishment than the crime. They'll extract more than a tooth, more than an eye, and more than a life. But anyway, God says, vengeance is mine. Leave it to God. Don't go looking for the vengeance yourself. Also in this book, again on the theme of personal responsibility, and it shows that even kings are not above the law, but rather servants to the law. Kor, or rather Shasta, whose true name was Kor, so here and I'll refer to him as Kor, asked that he not be made king. He didn't feel worthy, which is a good sign that you are. If you think you should be king, you probably shouldn't. He asks his father, but Corin will be king then, father. And King Loon says, nay lad, thou art my heir, the crown comes to thee. And importantly he says, but I don't want it. I'd rather, and this is the important point, 'tis no question what thou wantest, Kor, nor I either. 'Tis in the course of law. The law says Kor should be king. And this is an important lesson for leaders, that you don't exceed your authority. You don't change the law to suit your own ends. Kor was required to be king. He asked the burden pass. But King Loon, being wise, said, no. No, we must adhere to the law. Because what that speaks to in secular terms, and why God would ordain it to be so, is that it keeps order. That the king cannot exceed his authority. He cannot change the law to suit his own ends. If the king is a servant of the law, then there is a better chance he will be a good king, because he will maintain the law and uphold the law and not interpret it for his benefit or for the benefit of his toadies. I think I'll call it to an end there. Thank you for listening. I strongly recommend you read the book. Just like all the other books in the Narnia series, it is excellent reading, regardless of your age. You will pick up something yourself, certainly something I haven't thought of. And when you do, please comment below. it would be great to start collecting what people get from this book. Has it made you think? It certainly made me think. I'll be working on the next book, Prince Caspian, very soon. And you know what? I think I will probably be mentioning these themes again of personal responsibility. And it will probably be the common theme through all the 7 books. It's a lesson none of us are too old or too young to learn. And realize that your actions have consequences that affect not just you but others. So, once again, thank you for listening. If you like this, please hit the like. If you don't like it, you know what? Hit the dislike button. I won't be mad. But regardless, like or dislike, comment below and let me know why. And let me know what you think of the book. Did you enjoy it or not? If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And I will be leaving a link to an audiobook version of this book in the description below. Check it out. It's a beautiful read. Hopefully the link is still active. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll be aware of any videos I'm releasing. And just as an aside, also check out the link below to my wife's Instagram account, Latina Views Ireland. Well worth it. Well worth a look. Her photography is amazing, and she has a wonderful view on this country of Ireland, which she's a recent immigrant to. And please, if you have an Instagram account, subscribe to her channel. And if you don't, let your friends know and ask them to subscribe. So thank you for listening, and see you all again soon.